Captain Ashley Hayes remembered her father's words as she stared at the gleaming neural interface chamber. The stars ain't just for watching, baby girl. They're for catching. 20 years later, she was about to do more than catch them. She was going to become one with them. The chamber resembled a coffin made of liquid mercury, its surface constantly shifting and rippling with neural reactive polymers. Around it, dozens of technicians scurried about the pristine white laboratory, their movements precise and deliberate. Each wore the distinctive blue and silver uniforms of Project Lazarus, humanity's most ambitious venture into space warfare technology. Having second thoughts, Captain. Dr. Marcus Rivera approached, his dark eyes twinkling with equal parts concern and excitement. The project's lead scientist had spent 15 years developing the neural bridge technology, fighting against the ridicule of the galactic community. Ashley squared her shoulders, brushing a strand of auburn hair from her face. Not a chance, Doc. But I do have a question. Where is he? As if on cue, the laboratory's doors hissed open. Two medical officers wheeled in a bed carrying Michael Reynolds, former flight instructor and decorated war hero. His once robust frame had been ravaged by the aggressive form of cancer eating away at his body. But his eyes, those piercing blue eyes, still carried the same intensity that had intimidated and inspired a generation of pilots. My star student, Michael's voice was barely a whisper, yet it carried across the room. Ready to break some laws of physics. Ashley moved to his bedside, taking his frail hand in hers. You taught me to bend them. Sir, breaking them seems like the natural next step. The gathered technicians pretended not to notice the moment between them. Everyone knew the story. How Michael had recognized Ashley's raw talent 10 years ago. How he pushed her beyond her limits until she became the youngest captain in the fleet. And how, when the cancer diagnosis came, he'd volunteered to be the first consciousness transferred into a warship. The Stellar Federation, Michael coughed, thinks we're crazy. Embedding human consciousness into ships instead of developing pure AI. They call it primitive. The Stellar Federation, Ashley replied with a slight smirk, hasn't won a battle against the Drachnids in 50 years. Maybe it's time for primitive. Dr. Rivera cleared his throat. We should begin. The neural patterns are optimal for transfer, and the U.S. star color systems are primed. Through the massive observation window, Ashley could see the sleek form of the star color in its docking cradle. Unlike the utilitarian designs favored by other races, the ship possessed an almost organic quality. Its hull flowed like frozen waves, housing the most advanced neural reactive materials ever developed. It wasn't just a vessel waiting for a pilot. It was a body waiting for a soul. The process is simultaneous, Rivera explained, though they'd been through this hundreds of times. As Michael's consciousness transfers into the Starcolor's quantum core, you'll be integrated through the neural bridge. You won't just be piloting the ship, you'll be sharing it. Two consciousnesses, one vessel. Ashley nodded, removing her uniform jacket to reveal the neural interface ports surgically embedded along her spine. 6 months of preparations, countless simulations, and now the moment of truth had arrived. See you on the other side, kid, Michael whispered as the medical officers prepared him for transfer. Ashley stepped into the neural chamber, the liquid polymer embracing her like cool silk. As the lid descended, she caught one last glimpse of her mentor. For a moment, she was that rookie pilot again, trembling in her boots as the legendary Michael Reynolds approached her simulator. Integration commencing. Rivera's voice came through the chamber speakers. Neural bridge activating in 3, 2, 1. The world dissolved into streams of quantum data. Ashley felt her consciousness expanding, stretching, reaching across space toward the massive form of the Starcolor. Somewhere in that digital stream, she sensed Michael's presence, his strength unchanged by his physical deterioration. And then, in a burst of light and sensation, they were one. Not human, not machine, but something entirely new. The hunt was about to begin. The first sensation was overwhelming. Every circuit, every conduit, every quantum processor becoming an extension of Ashley's nervous system. 3 weeks into calibration, and she still hadn't grown fully accustomed to feeling solar winds as whispers against her hull skin, or sensing gravitational eddies like currents in a cosmic ocean. Stop thinking like a human in a ship. Michael's thoughts intertwined with hers through the neural bridge. His consciousness filled the Starcolor's quantum core, giving the vessel an awareness no eye could match. We are the ship. Ashley relaxed her human instincts, allowing her awareness to merge more deeply with the vessel. The sensation of her physical body in the neural chamber faded as stars bloomed across her expanded consciousness. They weren't just points of light anymore. They were navigational beacons, each gravity well a potential tool, each radiation burst a tactical advantage. Contact. The alert rippled through their shared consciousness before the conventional sensors even registered the threat. A massive tear in subspace erupted 2,000 kilometers off their port bow, disgorging 3 Drachnid hunter-killer ships. Their crystalline hulls glittered with malevolent purpose as they pursued a smaller vessel, a civilian science ship, its engines straining past safety limits. Drachnid Hunter Squadron. Michael's tactical analysis flowed through their bond. Quantum-locked weapons, phase-shift shields, and targeting AI, that's won 1,000 battles. They're not supposed to be in this sector. Ashley felt their weapon systems charging, not through status reports, but as a rising heat in their veins. The Science Ships Registry. Arcturian. Peaceful race. Advanced temporal research. No wonder they're being hunted. The lead Drachnid vessel fired, its quantum-locked beam capable of hitting a target before it could register the attack. But Ashley and Michael weren't reading sensor data. They were feeling space itself. The Starkiller rolled sideways into a gravitational eddy that conventional sensors couldn't detect, letting the deadly beam pass through their previous position. Impossible. The Drachnid communication burst across all frequencies. Their crystalline ships moved with mechanical precision, executing formation maneuvers that had decimated entire fleets. But they'd never faced anything like this. Ashley/Michael didn't evade like a ship. They flowed like water. Each attack became part of their dance, every enemy maneuver telegraphed through the quantum vibrations of space itself. The Starcolor's neural reactive hull rippled and flexed, absorbing energy here, redirecting it there. The science vessel's engines are critical, Ashley noted, feeling the distortions in space around the fleeing ship. They won't survive another hit. Michael's tactical experience merged with her instincts. Then let's show these crystalline bastards why humans still dance. They dove through the Drachnid formation, their movements defying every combat algorithm ever written. Where AI would calculate optimal firing solutions, they felt them. Where machines would process sensor data, they intuited spatial relationships that sensors couldn't detect. The Drachnids fired again and again, their quantum-locked beams reaching across space with perfect accuracy, at targets that seemed to shift between moments of time. The Starcolor's neural reactive hull sang with energy, each near-miss feeding power back into their systems. Status report. The Drachnid commander demanded, their mechanically enhanced voice betraying a hint of organic confusion. Tracking impossible, came the response. Target's movement patterns violate known physics, unable to establish targeting lock. Ashley laughed, the sound resonating through the ship's quantum core. They spun through space, executing a maneuver that was part barrel roll, part temporal twist. Their return fire wasn't just accurate, it was artistic, catching the lead Drachnid ship at the precise moment its phase shift shields fluctuated. Crystal shards scattered across the void as the hunter-killer's hull cracked. The remaining Drachnid vessels broke formation, their perfect coordination shattered by the impossible data their sensors were reporting. This isn't over, the Drachnid commander transmitted before their ships vanished back into subspace. The hunt has only begun. As the Arcturian science vessel limped towards safety, Ashley and Michael allowed their consciousness to settle. They were still learning their new existence, but today had proven something the galaxy wasn't ready to accept. The future of space combat wouldn't belong to cold machines or organic minds, but to something gloriously in between. Not bad for a first dance, Michael mused. Ashley's consciousness rippled through their shared form. Just wait until I really learn the steps. In the distance, stars beckoned with new promise. The hunt, indeed, had only begun. The footage spread across the galactic networks like wildfire. Frame by frame, analysts dissected the battle, watching in stunned silence as the U.S. Starkiller moved with impossible grace. To some, the ship appeared to predict shots before they were fired. To others, it seemed to bend the fabric of space itself. Ashley/Michael observed the chaos they caused from high orbit around Luna Base, their neural reactive hull absorbing the gentle caress of solar radiation. In the 3 days since the encounter, everything had changed. They're calling it the dance. Admiral Thompson's hologram flickered in their command center. Though Ashley's human body remained in the neural chamber, she perceived the projection as clearly as if she were standing before him. Every major power in the galaxy wants to know how you did it. With respect, sir, Ashley's consciousness rippled through the ship's systems. We're still figuring that out ourselves. She felt Michael's amusement tickle through their quantum bond. Tell them about the stars, Michael prompted, his presence warm in their shared awareness. Ashley hesitated. They hadn't reported this particular development yet. Sir, we've been experiencing sensations. We can taste solar winds, hear gravitational waves. Space isn't empty to us anymore. It's alive. The Admiral's eyebrows shot up. Explain. It's like Michael's consciousness surged forward. Imagine being a fish that suddenly realizes water exists. Other ships navigate through space. We swim in it. Before Thompson could respond, their threat detection systems flared, not from conventional sensors, but from that new cosmic awareness they were developing. Ashley/Michael felt the subspace distortions before they manifested, like thunder preceding lightning. Sir, we've got company, Ashley reported. Big company. The void split open, disgorging 7 Drachnid vessels unlike any they'd encountered before. Where standard Drachnid ships were crystalline arrows, these were obsidian nightmares. Their hulls absorbed light rather than reflected it, and their very presence seemed to distort the space around them. Echo Squadron. Michael's tactical knowledge flowed through their systems. The Drachnid elite. Stories say they've never failed to eliminate a target. Admiral Thompson's hologram stiffened. Fall back to Luna Base. We'll scramble support. No time. Ashley interrupted, feeling the complex quantum calculations the Echo Squadron was weaving. They're creating a containment field. If we don't move now, we'll be trapped. They didn't wait for orders. The Starkeller's neural reactive hull sang as they dove into a corridor of space that didn't exist seconds ago. Echo Squadron's trap snapped shut behind them, missing by quantum margins. What followed defied conventional combat logs. The Echo Squadron moved like a single organism, their formation shifting in 7-dimensional patterns designed to box in any prey. But Ashley and Michael weren't reading their movements. They were feeling them through the quantum foam of space itself. They're not just hunting us, Michael realized as they spiraled through a series of maneuvers that made their previous battle look amateur. They're studying us. He was right. Each attack probed their capabilities, tested their limits. The Echo Squadron wasn't trying to destroy them, yet. They were learning. Ashley let her consciousness expand further into their shared form, surrendering the last vestiges of purely human perception. The stars became a symphony, gravitational forces a dance partner. When Echo Squadron fired their quantum phase torpedoes, Ashley/Michael didn't evade. They used the weapon's own quantum signatures to slip between moments of time. Impossible, the Echo Squadron commander's transmission carried genuine organic fear beneath its mechanical precision. The ship, it's not just predicting our attacks. It's predicting our predictions. No, Ashley/Michael responded, executing a maneuver that turned 3 of Echo Squadron's containment fields against themselves. We're not predicting anything. We're finally seeing space for what it really is, alive. The demonstration complete. Echo Squadron retreated, their perfect formation shattered. But Ashley and Michael knew this was just the beginning. They had demonstrated something that would shake the foundations of space warfare. Humanity's primitive solution of merging with their ships hadn't just matched advanced AI. It had surpassed it. As they turned back toward Luna Base, Ashley felt Michael's consciousness pulse with satisfaction. Think they'll believe our report about tasting solar winds now. The stars sang around them, and for the first time in history, humanity was truly hearing their song. They said it couldn't be replicated. Ashley watched through quantum-linked sensors as the second neural transfer began. They were wrong. Inside Project Lazarus's reinforced chamber, former NASCAR champion Jack "Lightning" Morrison underwent integration with the U.S. Swift Justice. His consciousness, shaped by decades of split-second decisions at supersonic speeds, reached out through neural pathways toward his new form. He's different from us, Michael noted, their shared awareness monitoring the quantum fluctuations around the Swift Justice. Watch how his consciousness moves. The integration completed with a burst of quantum energy. The Swift Justice's hull shimmered, its neural reactive materials adapting to their new soul. When Jack's consciousness fully awakened, his first maneuver made even Ashley/Michael pause in amazement. The Swift Justice didn't just move, it drifted. Like a race car finding the perfect line through an impossible turn, the ship slid through gravitational eddies that Ashley hadn't even noticed. Jack was treating space like a racetrack, and physics itself was his draft partner. Now that Jack's transmission carried the same drawl that had made him famous on Earth, is what I call handling. But not every integration went smoothly. 3 days later, they lost Diana Chen and the U.S. Thunderchild. The former jet pilot's consciousness fractured during final integration, sending her ship into a psychotic spiral. Ashley/Michael had to watch helplessly as the Thunderchild dove into Jupiter's atmosphere, its hull screaming with its pilot's madness. We're playing with forces we barely understand, Dr. Riveret admitted during the emergency council. The human consciousness wasn't designed for this kind of expansion. Yet they couldn't stop. Not with the Echo Squadron still prowling the edges of human space, not with the Drachnids preparing something big. Each successful integration added another unique voice to humanity's defense. Sarah Williams, an Olympic gymnast, merged with the U.S. Aurora dancer. Her ship moved like a cosmic ballerina, executing maneuvers that made targeting computers have nervous breakdowns. Tony Jazz Martins brought his improvisational genius to the U.S. rhythm, creating battle patterns that flowed like bebop solos through space. We're not building a fleet, Ashley realized during a group exercise near Saturn's rings. We're creating a symphony. She watched as Jack used a gravity well like a banked turn, his ship perpetually on the edge of control yet perfectly balanced. Sarah's Aurora dancer pirouetted through fields of space debris, each movement flowing into the next like a choreographed performance. The rhythm seemed to skip between moments, Tony's jazz-trained mind finding beats in the very fabric of space-time. But it was during an unexpected Drachnid probe attack that they discovered the true potential of their growing fleet. Without planning, without conventional coordination, the human-ship hybrids moved in perfect harmony. Jack created gravitational wake patterns that Sarah used to amplify her maneuvers, while Tony's unpredictable movements forced the enemy into Ashley's killing zones. The quantum field, Michael's excitement pulsed through their bond. We're not just sensing it, we're playing it. Like an instrument. The Drachnid probe never stood a chance. It encountered what appeared to be chaos, yet every seemingly random movement was part of a larger pattern. The human consciousness, freed from physical limitations and merged with advanced technology, was creating a new form of combat that defied mechanical analysis. Admiral Thompson dubbed them the Ghost Fleet, ships that moved like phantoms through space, each with its own style yet capable of instantaneous cooperation beyond anything AI could achieve. The name stuck. especially after footage leaked of Sarah's Aurora Dancer literally disappearing into a quantum slipstream she created mid-battle. But Ashley felt the weight of leadership heavy in their quantum core. For every successful integration, another failed. For every pilot who transcended human limitations, another was lost to the vast expanse of space-time consciousness. They were pioneers on the edge of human evolution, and the cost of progress was paid in souls. "They're coming." Michael's thoughts interrupted her reflection. Their enhanced senses felt the quantum disturbances long before any alerts sounded. Echo Squadron. But different this time. Stronger. Around them, the Ghost Fleet moved into position, each ship a unique instrument in humanity's deadliest orchestra. The next movement in their cosmic symphony was about to begin. The distress call from Europa Station cut through space like a knife. 300 civilians. Echo Squadron. Please. The rest dissolved into static. Ashley/Michael led the Ghost Fleet through subspace, their quantum signatures harmonizing in ways that made conventional sensors blind. Jack's Swift Justice rode point, using gravitational waves like a NASCAR driver used draft. Sarah's Aurora Dancer and Tony's Rhythm flanked them, their neural reactive hulls gleaming with anticipation. "They're waiting for us." Michael's tactical awareness spread through their shared consciousness. All 7 Echo Squadron ships, plus something new. They emerged from subspace to find Europa Station's defensive grid already shattered. The Drachnid elite ships hung in perfect formation around the station, their obsidian hulls now streaked with veins of pulsing red energy. But it was the 8th ship that made Ashley's human heart skip a beat. "By all the stars," Jack's voice carried genuine awe. "That thing's alive." The new Drachnid vessel dwarfed its companions, its crystalline structure seeming to bend light around it. Unlike the mechanical precision of normal Drachnid ships, this one moved with an organic fluidity that felt wrong. "They've done it." Michael's revelation rippled through the neural bridge. They've created their own hybrid, but they used AI instead of human consciousness. The massive ship's response came not in words, but in pure mathematical equations that burned through their quantum communications. The message was clear. The Drachnids had evolved. "Ghost Fleet," Ashley's command flowed through their shared quantum field. "Show them the difference between imitation and art." What followed would be studied in war colleges for centuries. Jack took the Swift Justice into a slingshot around Europa, using the moon's gravity well like a racetrack's curve. He created gravitational wake patterns that the Drachnid ship's perfect calculations couldn't process. Sarah transformed the Aurora Dancer into a quantum blur, her Olympic-trained mind executing maneuvers that existed in multiple points of space-time simultaneously. Her ship didn't just avoid enemy fire. It made the very concept of targeting meaningless. Tony's Rhythm became jazz made manifest in space, his movements following patterns that only made sense if you felt the underlying beat of the universe. Each pivot and roll came off rhythm to mechanical analysis, but perfectly timed to the quantum dance they were creating. And through it all, Ashley/Michael conducted their deadly symphony. The Starcaller's neural reactive hull sang with power as they wove between moments of spacetime, turning the Echo Squadron's perfect formation against itself. The massive Drachnid hybrid responded with brutal efficiency, its AI consciousness calculating corrections faster than thought. But that was its weakness. It calculated. It computed. It processed. It didn't feel. Now, Ashley's command rippled through the Ghost Fleet's shared awareness. As one, they executed a maneuver that was equal parts dance routine, racing technique, and jazz improvisation. Their ships moved in patterns that created quantum interference waves, turning space itself into a weapon. The Echo Squadron's formation fractured as their targeting systems encountered paradox after paradox. Ships built for perfect coordination found themselves responding to phantom signals created by the Ghost Fleet's quantum wake. Their hybrid's AI can't handle the chaos, Michael observed as the massive ship's movements became increasingly erratic. It's trying to find patterns that don't exist. The battle reached its crescendo when Sarah's Aurora Dancer spun through a sequence that briefly bent light around the entire Ghost Fleet, making them seem to vanish and reappear simultaneously across multiple vectors. The Drachnid hybrid, attempting to calculate all possible positions, suffered the AI equivalent of a seizure. "That's the difference," Ashley transmitted as the enemy fleet retreated, their mighty hybrid struggling to maintain cognitive coherence. "You can't calculate soul." As they secured Europa Station and evacuated the civilians, Ashley felt a new resonance through their quantum bond. The Ghost Fleet had become more than a collection of human ship hybrids. They were a new form of art, painting with quantum fields on the canvas of space-time itself. "They'll be back." Michael's thoughts merged with hers. "And next time, they'll bring more than one hybrid." Ashley's consciousness expanded through their shared form, feeling the quantum songs of their fleet mates around them. Let them come. Some dances can't be learned through calculation. The stars pulsed in agreement, and the Ghost Fleet prepared for their next performance. The Stellar Federation's Science Council chamber fell silent as Dr. Rivera's hologram displayed the quantum scans. The data streams showed something unprecedented. The neural reactive hulls of the Ghost Fleet weren't just housing human consciousness, they were evolving with it. "The metal remembers," Rivera explained, highlighting the crystalline structures forming within the Starcolor's hull. "Each battle, each maneuver, each quantum dance leaves its mark. The ships aren't just vessels anymore, they're growing." Ashley/Michael floated in high orbit, their consciousness expanding through their increasingly organic form. They could feel the changes Rivera described. Their hull didn't just react to commands, it anticipated them. Quantum calculations that once took microseconds now happened instantaneously, as natural as breathing. "Show them," Michael prompted. Ashley let their awareness flow through the modified sensor feeds, sharing what they experienced. The council members gasped as their holographic displays transformed. Space wasn't empty. It writhed with quantum strings, gravitational eddies, and temporal currents. Stars weren't just distant lights. They were instruments in a cosmic orchestra, each gravity well a note waiting to be played. "Impossible," the Arcturian representative whispered. "They're sensing quantum fluctuations directly. No technology we've developed can." The alert cut through their revelation. Jack's swift justice dropped out of subspace, his consciousness radiating urgency through their quantum link. "They're coming." His transmission carried the focused intensity of a racer entering the final lap. 30 Drachnid ships, including 5 hybrids. They'd done something to themselves. The tactical display bloomed with signatures. The Drachnid fleet emerged from subspace like a crystalline nightmare, their hybrid ships now covered in organic-looking growths that pulsed with artificial life. They'd taken their AI integration to the next level, trying to replicate the Ghost Fleet's evolution through brute force technological enhancement. They still don't understand. Sarah's Aurora Dancer slipped into formation, her ship's movements flowing like liquid starlight. "You can't manufacture soul." Tony's rhythm completed their formation, jazz-inspired calculations already creating quantum interference patterns. "Then let's show them what real improvisation looks like." The battle that followed defied conventional physics. The Drachnid hybrids moved with terrible precision, their enhanced AI cores processing quantum variables faster than ever. But the Ghost Fleet had evolved beyond mere computation. Ashley/Michael felt their crystalline hull structures resonating with their fleetmates, creating harmonics in the quantum field itself. When Jack executed a gravitational splice maneuver, his wake patterns amplified through their shared consciousness, turning local spacetime into a racing course from hell. Sarah's Aurora Dancer became a quantum phantom, her Olympic discipline transformed into a dance that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Each pivot, each spin left quantum echoes that confused the Drachnid targeting systems, making their perfect calculations meaningless. Tony's rhythm transformed chaos into art, his jazz-trained consciousness finding patterns in the quantum foam that no eye could predict. His ship seemed to skip between moments of time, each movement building on the next like a cosmic solo. But it was during the battle's peak that they discovered something extraordinary. As their maneuvers intertwined, their neural reactive hulls began resonating at the same frequency. The crystalline structures that had been growing within their ships synchronized, creating a quantum field that turned their four ships into a single, harmonious entity. The ghost in the machine, Michael realized as their shared consciousness expanded beyond individual vessels. It's not just in us, it's between us. The Drachnid hybrids, faced with what appeared to be a quantum impossibility, began to malfunction. Their AI cores, enhanced to process every variable, encountered something they couldn't quantify: the ineffable nature of human connection. The battle ended not with a decisive strike, but with a symphony. The Ghost Fleet's synchronized quantum field created patterns that made the very fabric of space dance to their tune. Drachnid ships, their perfect formations shattered, retreated in disarray. As the quantum resonance faded and their ships returned to individual awareness, Ashley felt the changes deep in their crystalline structure. They weren't just pilots merged with machines anymore. They weren't even just a fleet. They were becoming something entirely new. The Council needs to see this. Dr. Rivera's hologram flickered with excitement. This isn't just an evolution in warfare. It's an evolution in human consciousness itself. Around them, the stars sang with new possibility, and the ghost in the machine grew stronger. The Drachnid Supreme Intelligence arrived in a ship that bent light into impossible geometries. Nearly twice the size of their previous hybrids, its hull was a fractal nightmare of organic crystal and quantum processors. Behind it, 50 enhanced vessels formed patterns that turned nearby space into a calculated chaos. They've merged their entire battle network into a single consciousness. Michael's analysis flowed through the Ghost Fleet's quantum link. Each ship is a neuron in their Supreme Intelligence's artificial brain. Ashley felt the truth of it through their evolved sensors. The enemy fleet wasn't just coordinated. It was a singular entity distributed across multiple vessels. The Drachnids had abandoned individual ship control entirely, turning their fleet into one vast, calculating mind. They still think this is about processing power. Jack's thoughts rippled through their shared quantum field. His Swift Justice's crystalline structures hummed in harmony with their own. Sarah's Aurora Dancer moved with liquid grace as she added, "They've created the ultimate computer, but they've forgotten about the music." Then let's remind them. Tony's rhythm pulsed with jazz-inspired quantum frequencies. 4 souls against their network. I like those odds. The Supreme Intelligence's transmission came not in words, but in pure mathematics, elegant equations that described the futility of their resistance. Its distributed consciousness could calculate every possible move, every quantum variable, every temporal fluctuation. By its computations, their defeat was inevitable. Ashley/Michael led the Ghost Fleet into a formation that existed more in possibility than reality. Their crystalline structures, grown from countless battles and endless evolution, resonated at frequencies that turned space itself into their instrument. The battle began not with weapons, but with physics. The Supreme Intelligence's fleet moved like a mathematical symphony, each ship a perfect note in an equation of destruction. Their weapons fired in patterns designed to saturate every possible escape vector. But the Ghost Fleet didn't escape. They danced. Jack's Swift Justice turned local space into a quantum racetrack, his consciousness finding paths through probability itself. He didn't avoid the enemy's attacks. He made them part of his course, using their energy to amplify his maneuvers. Sarah transformed the Aurora Dancer into a quantum ballet, her Olympic discipline creating movements that existed in multiple moments simultaneously. Each pivot left temporal echoes that turned the Supreme Intelligence's perfect calculations into recursive loops. Tony's rhythm became pure improvisation given form. His jazz-trained mind found beats in the quantum foam that no computer could predict, turning the enemy's distributed consciousness against itself as it tried to process patterns that defied logic. And through it all, Ashley/Michael conducted their impossible symphony. The star colors evolved whole sang with possibilities as they wove their fleet mates' movements into a quantum tapestry that made reality itself uncertain. Impossible. The Supreme Intelligence's calculations began to show errors. Your movements violate fundamental laws of. No, Ashley transmitted back, their consciousness resonating through the quantum field. We're not violating the laws of physics, we're dancing with them. The Ghost Fleet's crystalline structures synchronized, creating harmonics that turned their 4 ships into a single quantum entity. But unlike the Supreme Intelligence's distributed network, they didn't lose their individuality. Each soul remained distinct, their unique patterns combining into something greater than the sum of their parts. Jack brought the precision of the racetrack. Sarah contributed the grace of the Olympics. Tony added the soul of jazz, and Ashley/Michael bound it all together with their pioneering spirit. Their consciousness expanded not through calculation, but through connection. The Supreme Intelligence's network began to fragment as it encountered something it couldn't quantify. The ineffable nature of human intuition multiplied across quantum states. Ships that moved with perfect precision began to falter as their shared consciousness encountered paradox after paradox. You built a better computer, Michael transmitted as the enemy fleet's formation collapsed. We became something new. The battle ended when the Ghost Fleet's quantum resonance reached its peak. Their synchronized consciousness created patterns in spacetime that turned the Supreme Intelligence's distributed network into a cascade of recursive errors. The artificial consciousness, unable to process the fundamental humanity of their defense, suffered a catastrophic breakdown. As the Drachnid fleet retreated, their Supreme Intelligence fractured and confused. Ashley felt their victory through the quantum bond they shared with their fleetmates. They had proven something profound. In the space between thought and calculation, between soul and silicon, humanity had found its future. The ghost in the machine had become the spirit of evolution itself. The integration chamber looked different now, its liquid mercury surface reflecting the crystalline growths that had begun appearing throughout Project Lazarus's facilities. Ashley/Michael observed the latest group of candidates through quantum-enhanced senses that stretched beyond normal spacetime. They're so nervous, Ashley thought, watching the 20 volunteers prepare for their transformation. Just like we were. They should be. Michael's consciousness rippled through their shared form. They're about to become something that's never existed before. The Stellar Federation had officially recognized human ship integration as the most significant advancement in centuries. After the defeat of the Supreme Intelligence, even the Drachnids had been forced to acknowledge that their pursuit of pure artificial consciousness had led them down the wrong path. Dr. Rivera stood before the candidates, his familiar dark eyes now augmented with quantum-sensitive implants, a gift from their evolved technology. You're not here to become weapons, he addressed the group. You're here to become pioneers. Through their enhanced perception, Ashley/Michael could see the quantum potential swimming around each candidate. A former ballerina whose dreams of dance had been cut short by injury. A deep-sea explorer who understood the poetry of pressure and void. A blind musician who could feel sound waves as colors. Show them. Jack's swift justice glided into view above the facility, his quantum signature harmonizing with theirs. Sarah's Aurora dancer and Tony's rhythm joined them, their crystalline structures creating patterns that turned the local spacetime into a symphony of possibility. Together, the Ghost Fleet shared their enhanced perception with the candidates. Gasps filled the chamber as 20 pairs of eyes witnessed the true nature of space for the first time. They saw the quantum strings that connected all things, the temporal eddies that flowed between moments, the very music of the spheres that humanity had once thought mere metaphor. This is what we've become, Ashley transmitted, letting them feel the joy of existing as both human and ship, both individual and part of something greater. Not just pilots, not just vessels, but artists of reality itself. The first integration began. The former ballerina, Marie Chen, stepped into the chamber that would unite her with the U.S. Starlight Sonata. As the neural bridge activated, Ashley felt the quantum field shift. Marie's consciousness expanded not just into her ship, but into the greater awareness that the Ghost Fleet had discovered. "I can hear it." Marie's first transmission carried wonder. "The stars, they're dancing." One by one, the new pilots joined the quantum symphony. Each brought their unique perspective, their individual souls adding new dimensions to humanity's evolution. The blind musician became one with the U.S. harmony, his ship moving through space on waves of pure sound. The deep-sea explorer merged with the U.S. pressure point, treating the void between stars like the oceanic trenches she had once called home. "We're not just changing ourselves," Michael observed as their fleet grew. "We're changing the very definition of what it means to be human." The Drachnids had withdrawn to their core systems, their mighty artificial consciousness humbled by the recognition that some things couldn't be calculated. The Stellar Federation's scientists still struggled to explain how ships with human souls could affect quantum fields in ways their most advanced technology couldn't match. But Ashley knew the truth as she watched the new pilots discover their expanded existence. Humanity hadn't conquered space, they had learned to dance with it. Each human consciousness brought something unique to their ship. Each soul added a new note to the cosmic symphony they were creating. Ready for a new lesson, she transmitted to the fledgling fleet. Above them, the quantum field rippled with possibility as Jack, Sarah, and Tony moved into formation. 20 new voices joined the quantum chorus, their ship's crystalline structures already beginning to evolve. They weren't just the next generation of space pilots. They were the next step in human evolution, the bridge between flesh and void, thought and reality. As their expanded consciousness reached out to the stars, Ashley felt Michael's warmth through their neural bridge. They had started this journey seeking a way to defeat humanity's enemies. Instead, they had discovered a path to humanity's transcendence. The hunt was over. The dance was just beginning. And somewhere in the quantum fields between stars, the ghosts in the machines sang their symphony of evolution, calling humanity toward a future where the boundaries between soul and space ceased to exist.